Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another episode. I don't know what to call this, but it's another prediction video. It's another power ranking / prediction video. In this episode, in this YouTube video, boys and girls, I am actually going to be, again, listing the teams firstly, just based on the ranks, what I think they are at here in the MPL Invitationals for 2022. We're going to be listing every single team. Then we're going to move on over and predict what's going to happen in MPL Invitational 2022, right? But yeah, I think without further ado, it's very late at night. It's 12:39 currently because I just finished writing down my notes. Now, you guys can probably see it here. I wrote a whole lot of things here with the help of the Sunfrost. Shout out to Sunfrost, Malaysian caster, to help me with all the Malaysian teams, because Malaysia I haven't really been following that much, right? I've only watched the grand finals, so I know about Team Hawk and Todak, but I don't know about Orange Esports. But for all the other regions, I do have enough data about them, right? Because I've seen them in a lot of these international events for PH. I've literally watched a lot of PH games and analyzed a lot of PH games to understand, right? And without further ado, again, I think it's just time for us to jump in. We're going to go in the order that my computer has set for these teams. I guess it's in order of it's alphabetic, all right? It's an alphabetical order. So first team we're going to be listing here is going to be Alter Ego Esports, ladies and gentlemen. So before we put Alter Ego in any of these tiers, yeah, A, S, B, whatever, we are actually going to be talking about Alter Ego first. So Alter Ego, if you guys don't know, this is a new roster for Alter Ego. Not completely new. They've just changed their jungler. We all know Sally Boy, but this MPL Invitational, they've actually opted to go for kids in the jungle. This is their MDL Season 4. Or no, my bad. MDL Season 5 jungler. Kids was a very, very good performer. Very good prodigy, I guess you could say, in the MDL. Very good performance. Helped the Alter Ego MDL team get all the way to the grand finals in MDL Season 5. His move up to MPL, he's only had like 2-3 matches. I think it was 2 matches that he played. It was when Sully Boy got sick. But the thing is, though, I think Alter Ego right now, in terms of the whole team, is still very strong, right? I predicted this team to beat Aura Fire, and I think they could have, or they should have beaten Aura Fire in the playoffs if Sully Boy got his retribution right. Unfortunately, these are the things that happen when you're playing the highest level possible. The jitters hit you. Sully Boy, unfortunately, I think he got hit pretty hard by the jitters, right? It didn't feel like mentally he was all there in the playoffs, because he missed a lot of crucial retributions. Not putting the blame onto him, but a lot of these games would have been sealed, I think, if the retribution was on point. Now, Kids coming into this is a very young player. I don't know if he can withstand the pressure of an international event, but looking at MPLI 2022, it's not an offline event. It's an online event, and I think Kids will be able to perform really well. In terms of the hero pool, though, Kids, and even in the playstyle, he's very similar to Sully Boy. He plays the assassins. He's not really comfortable on the utility jungler last time we saw him. Again, there's a lot of time for him to improve. There's been a lot of time for him, downtime, that he hasn't played in the MPL, so maybe he has learned these utility junglers. We'll just have to see, but I have always rated this Season 10 Alter Ego to be really, really high, right? Because of Pi and Nino. I think the side laners for Alter Ego are the carries. I want to give a massive shout out to Udil as well, because when Udil gets his comfort heroes, I think he is the actual main carry, right? It's not Nino, it's not Pi, it's Udil if Udil gets his comfort heroes. Thing is, though, Udil needs to get his comfort heroes. It's either the Julian, Farsa, or the Lilia. If those 3 heroes gets banned or picked up, Udil really struggles, unfortunately, right? So we'll see how he performs here in MPLI, but Pi and Nino are probably the most versatile in this team, with Pi able to play literally every single hero. I think I rate him as the best player on Alter Ego because of the way he lanes, because of the way he plays in team fights, his hero pool, that's just insane. Alter Ego needs to play around the flex potential of Pi in that XP lane, his deep hero pool. And they need to sometimes secure a comfort pick for Nino, right? And Leo Murphy. Leo Murphy as well is an insane player. He can really take the game into his own hands, very similarly to Yaoi from Echo. But very similarly to Yaoi from Echo as well, if his heroes gets banned out, he really struggles, right? So for that reason, I think I'm going to be putting Alter Ego at A tier. So they are still a very solid team, definitely a contender for the title, but I can't put them in S tier yet because there's some doubts. Kids, firstly, how is he going to perform in his first international tournament? Secondly, Udil and Leo Murphy. These guys, their hero pool was exploited. The hero pool weakness was definitely exploited. It was definitely utilized by Aura Fire in their win. If they didn't improve, it's going to be a very, very tough matchup against Rebellion Zion later on. Moving on, though, to the next team. Perfect time. And hey, we spoke about Alter Ego. Let's talk about the team that knocked Alter Ego out, because I think everyone underestimated Aura Fire coming into the playoffs, right? Of MPL Indonesia. But yeah, I can admit when I was where I was wrong. Aura Fire definitely aren't a weak team. Even though I said that they would be knocked out by Alter Ego, they proved me wrong, obviously. And yeah, their performance definitely was phenomenal, right? It was an amazing performance by them, by Aura Fire. And it goes to show that they hid a lot of their strats in the regular season. The main reason I chose Alter Ego to beat Aura Fire was because I felt like Aura Fire just didn't have the depth that they usually have in that hero pool division in the drafts where they usually win their games, right? They can use Fluffy, High, the whole team except for Facehugger to really flex their heroes everywhere. We didn't see that much in the second leg of the regular season, but in the playoffs, it definitely showed why we didn't see that much in the regular season. It's because Aura Fire were hiding a lot of these picks. We didn't see the Minotaur jungle in the regular season. It was saved up for the playoffs. We didn't see a lot of things actually for Aura Fire, right? Just a lot of their strats were hidden and they were utilized in the playoffs. I think if I were asked to tell you guys who the standout players are for Aura Fire, it has to be Fluffy and Kabuki. These two players make the team, right? Obviously, High, Facehugger, Godiva, they play huge roles, but in a lot of these positions, they really just enable Fluffy and Kabuki, because when Fluffy and Kabuki are able to make plays on the map, when they get enabled by the ganks that happen, by just the neutral objective securers, they really perform. Fluffy with his Lord Steals, with his team fights, Fluffy's just a complete player, I think. He's definitely the best player in the team, in my opinion, currently. Mostly because I think Kabuki's hero pool is very easy to exploit currently, right? Post MPL playoffs. Now, again, there has been time since MPL playoffs for Kabuki to learn different heroes. But from what I've seen, based on PL President, based on MPL Indonesia playoffs, he's really only comfortable in that gold lane on the Beatrix, Yuzong, Cho. Yuzong, Cho, we didn't see at all in the playoffs. It's a bit too risky to play. And Melissa, his Melissa is very, I wouldn't say it's Kabuki level, right? Kabuki on the Fanny as well. Fanny can be one of the heroes that they can utilize. Unfortunately, they're sitting at a 0% win rate in the playoffs with that Fanny, so I don't know if they still want to utilize that flex pick. They probably will still be able to utilize that flex pick. But again, if it's not Fanny, it's Beatrix. That's how Kabuki plays in the gold lane and in the jungle. And that can really be exploited. That can really be targeted, right? The fact that Beatrix also right now is in a very good position. But you can expect Hai to play a lot of crazy heroes in the jungle. Now that Leomur just got buffed, even Martis, we might see Martis come up again, because Godiva is also very, very good on the Martis, on the Kadita. So Godiva is also one of those players who really needs that comfort pick. But for Aura Fire, I will put them in A tier with Alter Ego. I think in terms of strength, I would actually give it over to Aura Fire because of their performance in MPL playoffs and because of the current patch. I think there's a lot of interesting heroes that Aura Fire will utilize in MPL Invitational 2022 that Alter Ego have not shown before. And yeah, that's why I'm putting Aura Fire still at A. I do have to say though, Aura Fire, I think right now, better than Alter Ego because of those crazy picks. Now we're moving over to Bigatron Alpha, guys. Okay. So for Bigatron Alpha, this is a very interesting one because Bigatron Alpha are a team that I'm biased for. Now, in all seriousness though, I'm going to be talking about Bigatron Alpha just objectively. I think with their roster currently, if they keep on building on the potential of this roster, they can definitely hit some pretty high highs, with Marky being a solid gold laner. But I think if we're talking about Bigatron Alpha, especially this season, we definitely have to highlight Key, Max, and Chorizo. These three players, I think, are the key to Bigatron Alpha's success. Max playing those assassins, getting those comfort heroes. He doesn't really perform well on the utility jungler, so you can expect to see Max mostly on the assassins, playmaking heroes. The Ling, the Lancelot, perhaps, and even the Karina, right? He can obviously play the Akai as well. If it's left open, they can go for it. Key, momentum-based player, makes the plays happen a lot around the map, right? And he's also one of the most versatile roamers in MPL Indonesia. He played the Diggy, so he can play the supports, like even the Matilda. He can play those crazy momentum heroes as well. I personally do prefer Key to play those momentum heroes, like the Atlas, even the Cho, but we haven't seen him on the Cho at all. In Season 7, he found so much success on the Cho. He was a nasty Cho player, but again, we haven't seen that much from his Cho since Season 7. But yeah, definitely look out for his Atlas. Just his Atlas in general. His Atlas is really good. They also have I'll talk about Chorizo as well. Chorizo is a very interesting kind of XP laner because he never really goes for the duels. I would say Chorizo is very similar to Dlar, actually. Yeah? So Chorizo plays kind of like Dlar. He's very macro-oriented. He plays these sustainable heroes. I think his favorite heroes are the sustainable heroes or just the mobile heroes. The Esme, Uranus, he performs best on those two heroes because he likes to cut waves very deep into the enemy lines, being a distraction. And he is always a distraction. He always knows when to go for the cut, when to go as a distraction, and when to join team fights. I think he's very similar to Dlar in terms of how he plays the game. They also have a new coach. Coach Vrandini, unfortunately, just got farewelled. It was a shocker to me. I saw it earlier today. When I was doing the rehearsals, I was very, very shocked. But Vrandini is no longer going to be coaching. I confirmed it with BTR as well with Raise Boy that Raise Boy is going to be the one coaching for BTR. And if you guys don't know who Raise Boy is, Raise Boy was the coach for the Bigatron Era team, the female team that hasn't lost a single tournament. They're on like a 17 tournament win streak. I don't know, something crazy like that. With Raise Boy, then with Mozia as the coach after Raise Boy got promoted to MDL, right? And first season for Raise Boy in MDL, he actually helped the team get a trophy. So Bigatron Beta in MDL Season 6 were able to get the trophy. Raise Boy now in with the MPL team, I think they might be I would actually say that BTR are a dark horse. I think there's just a lot of doubt going on right now towards BTR. Even me, I think I don't want to put them at A tier, right? But I don't think I want to put them at B tier. I don't think they're just a dark horse because there's just so many things that I have that there's a question mark, a big question mark on top of BTR right now, right? And I think they're a dark horse because of that reason. I think if Raise Boy is able to help the team and have a massive impact because of his coaching style and the way he drafts instantly into the team without the long process, this team can be a contender, honestly. But that's why I'll put them at a dark horse because not a lot of people are actually looking at them as threats. Not a lot of people are looking at them as a crazy strong team, but I think they definitely have the chance to surprise a lot of teams. Moving on, though, we are going to be going over to Blacklist International. Man. Blacklist International. Let's just hop on over to my notes on Blacklist. There's not much to say, guys, about Blacklist. They're just Blacklist, right? I would personally say that the two core members for Blacklist International currently has to be, I think, Venus and Edward, right? Venus just being the shot caller and an absolute menace in the Land of Dawn, the way that he rotates around the map. And for Edward, same, kinda, right? He's a very active XP laner. He always rotates towards the team. He always helps the team get objectives, and he's always able to manage his lane while doing that, right? Which is very hard to do, especially against the top XP laners in the world. But he does it every single time. I think there's no, like, as a team, Blacklist International, they are really good. Just every single member is really good because they play into the team so well, right? Even though for me, the standouts are Venus and Edward, I have to give massive props to Wise as well for having just such a massive hero pool. The man pulled off the Guinevere in the jungle, Valentina in the jungle, all the normal junglers that you usually see, the Akai, the Barats, just the utility junglers that you usually see. He also plays really well. So huge props to Wise, who really helps because in the draft, Blacklist International can be extra tricky with Wise. Haji as well. Very versatile in that mid lane. Usually he prefers to play just the high ground heroes, the Farsa, the Yves. But he can also go to the crazy heroes, right? We've seen him on the Kagura in M3. We saw him on the crazy heroes like that. But mostly, I think his comfort is still in the high ground position. Like just the ranged ones, like Farsa, Yves, right? Obviously, if they get the Faramis, then Faramis can be flexed as well between Venus and Haji. So there you go. And Oheb, just always the Filipino sniper, right? He's always just a solid gold laner. He can carry the team if they are able to play around Oheb. So there's always a backup. This is what I'm trying to say for Blacklist International. And this team is so well-rounded that... And they're using also their main lineup, which is not that common here in MPL Invitational. There's a lot of teams who didn't use or are not going to be using their main lineups. Blacklist have opted to go for that main lineup, and they've opted to... Well, they're going to try to win, right? And I think because of just their well-roundedness and the way that they're just so dominant here, playing from behind, which is even harder than playing from while they're ahead, right? I have to give Blacklist International S tier. The first S tier team here in MPL Invitational 2022. Okay? Now we're moving over to the next team, which is interesting as well. Bren Esports. Okay. Bren. I really, really like how Bren played this season in Season 10 of MPL PH. There's not much to say as well for Bren Esports. They're just a very solid team that can play through every single lane, right? When Few gets his comfort heroes or these crazy heroes like the Gurshan mid with Petrify, he definitely can carry the game. He's a solid mid laner as well. He's just a very consistent member on the team. Obviously, the veteran in this team, right? Kyle TZ is someone definitely who I would like to highlight as well. And what's interesting here is Kyle TZ has been listed in MPL Invitational as a gold laner, not a jungler. Super Marco is actually listed as a jungler. So they might have a change of styles in the way they play. Kyle TZ in the gold lane is a question mark for me because, again, I haven't seen Kyle TZ in the gold lane. I've mostly seen him on the Lancelot, performing out of his mind on the Fanny as well, just on the Assassins in general. So I think Bren Esports here, with the way that they play, but with the new roster, I would actually put them as dark horse as well, because a lot of teams aren't rating Bren Esports properly, I think. Everyone's just looking at them and saying, okay, Kyle TZ is insane, Few is insane, but no one is like looking at them as crazy favorites. I know a lot of people are rating them pretty high as well, me included, because of their performance up against Blacklist in the playoffs. But if the information that I got from the roster is true, the roster reveal is true, the roster lock, Kyle TZ Gold, I can't put them as A tier just yet because that's a big question mark as well. So I'll put them at Dark Horse. Next, it's an interesting team. Burn X Flash. All right, let's move on over to Burn X Flash. Burn X Flash. Cambodian team. First time Cambodian champion. there's two players that I want to highlight here. Obviously, it's Hesa in the gold lane. The way they play the game is very interesting in my opinion, right? Because they play around that gold lane, but Hesa really likes to go for the duels as a gold laner. Nowadays, you really rarely see gold laners just go head to head 1v1 completely, but Hesa really likes to go for those duels. In Mpli, if you guys watched, Hesa really loves to go for the duels in the 1v1 situations. Sometimes he's even caught in the 2v1 situations. So it's a very risky playstyle that Hesa has. He's also a very versatile gold laner. He can play almost everything in the gold lane, right? His 1-1 is amazing. He can play also just the normal style of gold laners, like the Irithel. He's just a very well-rounded gold laner, right? I am very interested to see how Hesa plays. But when Hesa does not perform, or when Hesa doesn't get that snowball rolling early on that fast, CCAT is the man that usually carries the team. CCAT is the mid laner, if you guys don't know, for Burn X Flash. He's a very solid player as well. He likes heroes like the Yve, like the Farsa, high ground heroes. Once again, he is the secondary carry for Burn X Flash. And I think for this team, there's definitely going to be a lot of potential, honestly, for me, seeing this team, right? I think there's going to be, I think there's a lot of potential that we can see later on for Burn X Flash. And that's about it. There's like, the way they play is also still very skirmish heavy. They really like to take these team fights because they have mechanically gifted players. And I guess Cambodia has always had that kind of style, right? Where they go very skirmish heavy. See You Soon had that style. Impunity KH had that style. Burn X Flash, I think, has that style as well. But a little bit better now because obviously they won. I really don't know where to put Burn X Flash currently because there's just not a lot of data coming in, especially for Burn X Flash internationally. I haven't seen them internationally, right? In Cambodia, yes, they performed. They were really good. But is it good enough? I'm basing this off of just my, like, the history of Cambodian teams in international events. I haven't really been too impressed. The first time I saw the Cambodian team in an international event, it was Mpli 2021 last year. See You Soon were able to beat Todak, and I was really impressed. I was getting behind the hype train of Cambodia being the next Burmese ghouls, right? But didn't happen, unfortunately, for Cambodia. They got knocked out first in M3 and in MSC. Impunity and See You Soon were knocked out, right? And for me, that kind of has given me an image for Cambodia that Cambodia isn't really at that level just yet. Burn X Flash can definitely change my expectations coming in, or expectations here in MPLI, if they do win their first match against Orange Esports. But I'll have to put Burn X Flash at B for now because of just the history. I think they're a bit one-dimensional as well, the way that they play. It's Hesa and CCAT. We'll see. We'll see if I'm wrong, right? Because everyone just plays around Hesa and CCAT from what I've seen usually. They have carried through their objective control as well in the past, but again, I'll have to put Burn X Flash currently at B as we move on to the next team, which is another favorite to win the trophy. This team, oh god, this is another very, very scary team, guys. Oof. All right, Echo PH. Don't mind Cloudy, guys. Cloudy is just having a fun time. If you can see her tail. But yes, Echo PH. They are also a team that have gone for their main lineup. So again, this is something that we don't see a lot. Burn X Flash also used their main lineup. So it's Sanford, Carl TZ, Sanji, Ben Cutie, and Yaoi. For this team, it's another very well-rounded team. Honestly, very well-rounded. Honestly, for me, the highlight is Yaoi. I would really highlight Yaoi. Thing is, though, with Yaoi, very similarly to Leo Murphy as well, these two players have kind of the same style. They're very aggressive. They're playmakers for their team, and they really perform on their comfort heroes. Unfortunately, their comfort heroes can get really limited if it's exploited, right? It's very limited. For Yaoi, we saw this happen when Blacklist banned out the Atlas and the Cho in the grand finals. He had to go for the Jawhead. he had to go for the picks that maybe he's not too comfortable with. And sure, he is comfortable on the Jawhead, but right now, Jawhead is definitely not a prio tank in the meta. With the current patch, maybe he can pull off different heroes, more different heroes. But for now, I will have to put Echo PH just because of their solidarity, how solid their composition is, their roster is right now from Sanford, Karltizi, Sanji, Benny. They can really carry from every single lane, right? Literally. In the jungle, they can carry with Karltizi. If he gets the Julian, his signature pick, in my opinion, for Season 10. Sanford is a young prodigy. Love seeing him play. He's a very young player. I think a lot of people, some people have commented that he's 16 or 17. Crazy. Very young player. And Benny QT. Very underrated gold laner, in my opinion. Not a lot of people are talking about Benny QT outside of the Philippines. And he's a very complete gold laner. He's also a very independent gold laner. Like, in a lot of these matches, Benny doesn't even need to be ganked. He's a very good weak side player, right? So, Echo PH, because of just how solid their roster is altogether, and because they went for the main lineup, and we kind of already know how this main lineup plays, I'll have to put Echo PH as the second S-tier team here in MPL Invitational 2022. Next, Evo's Legends. Oof. There's going to be a lot of people are hating on this team currently. Yeah, a lot of people are hating on this team. But I'll give you my opinion on this team right now. Okay, let's move. Okay, Evo's Legends. Here you go. I gotta get my notes. So for Evo's Legends, guys, this is gonna be the official roster that they are gonna be using. The main lineup, in my opinion, I think, is gonna be Psychots in the XP lane because they don't have Dlar. Fairsick in the jungle, Hijume is the mid lane, Brands in the gold lane, and Dreams as their roamer. This Evo's Legends team, the one you're seeing right now, the one that I just mentioned, has been performing really well. In Piala President, they haven't lost a single match. Piala President is the ISF qualifiers for Indonesia. And yeah, Evo's Legends have just looked very, very impressive, okay? Psychots, Fairsick, Hijume, Brands, and Dreams, they've had their weaknesses, but I would say their two standouts would be Fairsick and Brands. Especially Brands. If they can get Brands ahead, Brands absolutely carries the game. And I think a lot of people just are hating Evo's Legends for the sake of hating Evo's Legends right now. No, not just for the sake of hating Evo's Legends. A lot of people are hating Evo's Legends for a very visible reason. Dlar. They got Dlar. They imported him all the way from the Philippines, but he hasn't been played. He was played 2 matches in MPL. He was demoted to MDL. He hasn't gone any play time. Even in MDL, he only played in the grand finals. Yeah, for right now, I don't know. Just there's a lot of question marks towards Evo's Legends, a lot of hate towards them because of Dlar not playing. But I have to be honest with you. I think this roster definitely has potential, guys. I would put this team as one of the weakest. I would put this team as like one of the weakest A teams, right? Because it's a newly formed lineup as well. The members have shown that they can play. They're really good, but my main concern is still like, how are they going to be playing in the international stage? Psychots has been improving since you last saw him in MPL. Hijume has never played in MPL. He's an MDL player. He's now in the main lineup. So the big question mark, I think, still are Hijume and Psychots. For Fairsick and Brands, I say they're A-okay. In terms of their hero pool, they're very, very good. And the way they play, very, very good. Dreams, solid roamer. I'll put Evo's Legends as one of the weaker A-tier teams for now. They can prove me wrong, obviously. They can, if they beat Echo, wow. Wow. Next on the line, Geek Fam, ladies and gentlemen. And fun fact, so One Esports asked me to do a top 4 for the power rankings for teams, and I personally put Geek Fam as the 4th strongest team in MPL Invitational, and I'm not backing down. I do think this roster, especially in the second leg of the regular season, they really found their form. They really found their synergy as well. Luke Jana, Elzura, Chadera, Beloy. This combination is a very scary combination, right? Geek Fam can definitely do it, guys. Geek Fam can definitely do it. There's a lot of hype as well towards this roster currently for MPL Invitational. And I'm all for it. The way that Geek Fam likes to play usually is through Beloy. If Beloy gets his comfort heroes, usually it's the Franco, Grok, Mathilda, and Natalia. Those are the 4 comfort heroes that we've seen. Obviously, he has played the Selena as well. It was one of his comfort heroes, but he hasn't found a whole lot of success in MPL Indonesia with that Selena. With the Natalia as well, not that much success, but he's still, I think, it's still one of his comfort heroes that maybe we get to see. The game is usually played centered around Beloy and Jana. So the way they play is they try to enable Chadera, but not in the normal way. The normal way to play for your gold laner would just be to gank your gold laner constantly. How Geek Fam plays is very different to that. They don't gank their gold laner constantly. Sure, from time to time you do see Beloy go to that gold lane, help out a bit if Chadera is getting ganked. But the way they like to play to enable Chadera is just to be aggressive on the map and to play actually in the XP lane, forcing a response from the enemy team and giving Chadera some free farm, good time in the gold lane, right? So Chadera, actually, fun fact, in a lot of these matches is the weak side gold laner. He's always playing alone most of the times in the gold lane. He farms alone, and Geek Fam will try to look for picks in the XP lane or just in the mid lane or in the jungle, neutral objective control with Jana QT. Jana QT and Beloy. These 2 members, I feel like, are the core in the early to mid stages, and then you can transfer it over to Chadera once it gets to late. And for Elzura and Luke, I think both of them are just super solid. Luke has been performing really well in PLR President as well. Elzura is just a solid mid laner, a consistent one. And I think for Geek Fam, I'm going to put them at A tier. Yeah, I'm going to put them A tier, but I think they are the number 1 A tier team, in my opinion. Again, I think with this roster, they definitely have the potential to win. Okay. Now we're moving over to Smart Omega, which is, this is a very interesting Omega. It's an Omega that will not have Chaknu, will not have Etumax, right? So it's Renzio, Ryzen, KillVJ, Kelra, and Miko. And the way they play the game is very different to how the Chaknu Itomax roster plays. With Chaknu Itomax, you can see a lot of proactive plays being made. You can see a lot of aggressive plays and a lot of momentum plays happen. Well, this is very evident when, again, they played, I think, Grok Selena. Itomax just, again, with the Selena, is able to find so many crazy moments to actually turn the tides and to help his team come back. That's how they like to play it, right? The Omega Timer. Here, it's kind of like the Omega Timer 2. No, I don't think they play like with that Omega Timer one-shot Omega style with this roster. Renzio, Ryzen, KillVJ, Kelra, Miko. So with Miko and KillVJ, it's a safe type of play style, right? If they snowball it slowly but surely. They rise with that with the gold lead. And if they don't, they play it very slowly and they trade. They don't go for these team fights. They don't go for that one-shot Omega style. From what I've seen, again, in the matches where KillVJ and Miko plays, it's a very safe one. And Kelra here is still, I think, the highlight for Omega. It's Kelra. If Kelra is able to farm, if Omega are able to actually give Kelra the time to farm, the space to farm, he takes the game into his own hands. Enough said, right? Enough said. But I think with the roster that plays right now, I do believe for me, I personally prefer the Itomax and Chaknu. There you go, Chaknu roster. But I honestly do have to say that I still think I don't know. I really don't know here, man. Do I put them in like A tier? The roster is... Yeah, I would still put them at A tier. I wouldn't say they're high A tier. Yeah. I would still put them at A tier though, because it's still Renzio, Ryzen, Kelra. Heal VJ and Miko, I don't think their departure changes this team that much, right? It's not that crazy. It is actually quite a big impact, but yeah, now I'm thinking about it, it's quite a big impact, but I still think Omega can definitely do it. It's just a different style. It's not like it's a different style, but it's still at heart the same Omega, Kelra. Onyx Philippines is the next team. Oof. Okay. So Ryota, Sensui, Super Friends, Nets, and Kekedot. Okay. So with this team, guys, I'm really confused, like with this team, because they are very, in my opinion, they're very inconsistent, guys. Yeah, their peak was when they beat Blacklist, obviously, and when they beat everyone, but then they just got read out, in my opinion. They got read out. A lot of teams finally understood how they like to play the game with their crazy mid control and with their conversion from that mid control over to the goal lane, over the nets. But there's a lot of mistakes that this team makes, and I think it's based on the experience they have, right, guys? The experience is definitely something that is important here when you're playing in an international tournament. It definitely showed in the regular season of MPL. It also showed in the playoffs. Onyx PH, they started off really well, maybe because there's just not a lot of data to go by for this team, and they really, really creative with their picks. I really like this team because it's very interesting and unique team, right? The way they play the game is weird, very weird, with their Minotaur jungle, etc. But it's very inconsistent, and I think once they get read out, it's still it's very hard to read them, but once you get that read on them, they will fall, right? And considering that this tournament is a single elimination one, I think they can't really hide their tactics. They might have to go all out in their first match against Aura Fire, right? Yeah, against Aura Fire. Oh, that's a tough matchup, but I think it's going to be a fun matchup for Onyx PH and Aura Fire. For Onyx PH, though, I think for me, the main guy that I would highlight here is that mid duo, Super Friends and Kekedot. From the matches that I've watched, these two guys are the ones who are enabling the team with their mid control. This mid duo is absolutely lethal. The whole team is really good as well. Is good. You know, they take the early lead that Onyx PH are able to do, that the mid duo are able to place, but I actually don't know where to list them because it's their first international tournament. Where do I put them, dude? I'm so confused right now. Where do I put Onyx PH? This is very, very tough. Because this is the thing for them. You know what? I'll put them at Dark Horse. Yeah, you know what? I'll put them at Dark Horse. Because if they go crazy, they're really good. Like when they're good, they're really good. When they're bad, they're not really bad, but they're inconsistent, right? So I can't really place them at A, but I can't place them at B neither. I'll put them at Dark Horse. Right now we have 3 Dark Horse teams. We actually have more Dark Horse teams than we do B teams. But next, we have the Indonesian champions. So here you go. This is a very long video, by the way, guys. Hope you still enjoy. Hope you guys love my rambling. It's 1 a.m. currently. Maybe you can see here. It's currently 1 a.m. It's 1:17 a.m. But hey, content for you guys, right? I gotta provide because for 6 days I'm not gonna be uploading anything. So because of MPLI. Anyways, let's get on for Onyx ID. For Onyx ID, this is interesting because they're not using their main lineup. I think this is my prediction for their main lineup. I don't think it's gonna be Sans playing. Keyboy's not playing either. Keyboy's not in the roster, but Sans is in the roster. Onyx ID's main lineup will most probably be Boots, Kyrie, Drian, CW, and Samo. So Drian mid, Samo, Roamer. That's honestly my prediction on Onyx ID. Now, how do I rate them? I think the 2 standouts for Onyx ID is Kyrie and CW. Kyrie, regular season MVP, first team jungler, finals MVP, and MPLID champion. The most versatile jungler in the world, I think, right now. The best jungler in the world, in my opinion, because of just, again, how versatile he is and how good he is on every single category of the jungle, right? Because in the jungle now, we have those assassins, we still have the utility, and we have the fighters. That's in the middle. I think Kyrie is the only one that pulls off all three roles really, really well, right? His assassins are peak. I would definitely still say that his assassins are the best. Like, that's where you find peak Kyrie. It's on the assassins. On the Ling, on the Lancelot. It's still, those are the two heroes that I would usually still want to see from Kyrie. But even if he goes utility, his Valman is amazing. He can play a mean Akai. His Paquito is very calculative, yeah? His fighters in the jungle, very calculative. For CW, the most versatile gold laner, I would say, in the world. Also, would I say he's the best gold laner in the world? Yeah, I think I would. I think in my gold lane list as well, I put CW as number 1. Because again, he can play every single hero in the gold lane. Yeah, every single hero. I think he's one of those rare ones who can actually play every single hero, right? It's very kind of like Benny. Benny plays all the gold laners as well. Claude, Beatrix, 1-1, Brody, Popo, and Koopa. I think CW has more heroes. He's shown more heroes as well in MPLID. And he's very macro-oriented. He's always usually a very macro-oriented player, but this season, you really see his micro shine as well. He's also picked up some crazy heroes like the Leslie, like the Mia, and it's worked out. I think because, again, the team plays around him really well, and CW, he's a beast as well. I would put Onyx ID as the third S-tier team, but I would put them above Echo, below Blacklist. Even, I think, with this roster, it becomes a bit closer towards Echo. Like, I think Echo and Onyx might be on the same level, but because Onyx ID have more versatility, even with Samo and Drion stepping in instead of Sans and Keyboy, I would put them a little bit ahead against Echo. Like, I would put them just a bit ahead. Echo can definitely win, but on paper, I would say Onyx is a bit better than Echo. Blacklist is alone. Fucking Blacklist. Too good. Next on the line is Orange Esports. Now, for Orange Esports, this is a new lineup. This is a new lineup for Orange Esports, technically. Because last season they had Gary, they had Min, they had Man. I think they had Min Man. Yeah, that was their roster, right? So the only member that I remember here is Valens, who's changed his name, by the way. It's Amelins here in MPLI. So if you don't get mixed up, he changed his name for MPLI. Valens is still the main. Yeah, he's the main guy. He's the main guy that makes it happen. He's a shot caller as well, as I've heard. And the way the team plays is to play around Valens. If Valens gets ahead in the early stages, then he performs. If he doesn't, then the team actually kind of falters. So the way they play on with Valens is very interesting because they also have a backup, Stormy. You see, do you guys see a pattern here? Do you guys see some similarities? Because I do. They sound very much like Burnex Flash. They play around their goal laner. If they don't get that goal laner ahead, they still have that backup Stormy. For Burnex Flash's case, it's Hesa, and they have a backup Seacat, right? The jungler mostly plays the utility role. And even, this is, I feel like they have the same style. Burnex Flash and Orange Esports. Same style, in my opinion. Yeah. same style. That's it. Oh, but there's something interesting. The roamer, AIM, he likes to play mages, actually, as the roamer. He plays the Selena, the Kadita, the Diggy. So those are the 3 roams that he's usually known for in the roam position, AIM. They also have high skill participation, which means that they're very active together. They rotate together on the map, and they're very active together as a team. Once Valens gets ahead, by the way. So it sounds one-dimensional, the way they play they play for Valens. But when Valens actually gets ahead, if he gets that snowball going, his DP, his damage per minute is number 1 in MPL Malaysia. He's number 3 in GPM in terms of gold. And the way he plays isn't that safe goal laner. He's a very active and risky goal laner when he's ahead. But in lane, he gets helped out by the other team, by the other teammates, my bad. But unfortunately, because I think the style is a bit one-dimensional to me, very similar to Burn X Flash, I will put them in B tier for Orange Esports. Next on the line, we will have, let me check the team, Rebellion Zion. Okay. Rebellion Zion. Okay, Rebellion Zion. Rebellion Zion. Okay. Here, this is an interesting one because Rebellion Zion are a very good team, in my opinion. They're very good, but it's strange because they get the jitters so often on stage. When they play online, they're so good. They're so good when they play online. And guess what? Mpli Invitational is online. I think with the roster that they have as well, Rebellion Zion are definitely a contender here. Honestly, I honestly I'm saying that. Yeah, I'm saying that Rebellion Zion can be contenders. They also are using their main lineup. This is a lineup that we've seen beat a lot of teams in MPO Indonesia. But they're still a very low-key team. Not a lot of people are looking at them. Wijanarko, I would say, is the highlight for this team. He enables the team to happen, and I think for Ruby Roamer, he might be the best Ruby Roam mechanically. Like, Ruby Roam, Ruby player mechanically, I would give it over to Wijanarko. Dyron is also one of the standouts that I would say in this team. As an XP laner, he's very lane-oriented. He's kind of the opposite of Edward. When Edward plays for his team, Dyron plays for his lane. Dyron literally just plays for his lane. He stays in lane. He goes for the trade when the enemy XP laner rotates around. Okay? So that's how they usually play. And Fearless is one of the shout-outs that I want to give Fearless a shout-out as well. Technically, I can give all the members a shout-out, but I'll mention these three. Wijanarko number 1, Dyron number 2, Fearless number 3. Why Fearless? Most unique hero pools as a jungler. He's played everything. Utility jungler, assassin jungler. He's played everything. He's very versatile as a jungler as well. He was the first one to bring Cho jungle as well in Mpli ID. And yeah. So for Rebellion, I would say still though, because they're just very underrated and because of their questionable, inconsistent performances, similarly to Onyx PH, I have to put them as dark horse. I can't really put them at A. I can't really put them at B. I would say Rebellion Zion are a dark horse here as well. There's a lot of dark horses this tournament, guys. Honestly. Next on the line is RRQ. Now, hey, for this RRQ, guys, it's not the RRQ that you're thinking of. It's not Vin, Albert. It's not R7. No, it's RRQ Senna. It's the MDL RRQ lineup that's going to be playing in MPLI, which is a very interesting choice for RRQ. In their international tournament, they've opted to go for their MDL lineup. But here it is. The MDL lineup is consists of Justin, Aether, Warlord, Pranata, and Violence. So no Psycho in this lineup, which is pretty interesting to me. I think he might be in the reserves list, in the substitute list. I'm trying to find. Give me a second. Let me just double check real quick on my other phone for the lineup here. No. Okay. Banana is actually the sub. Okay, so we don't have Psycho. For RQ Senna, it's a very interesting team. The way they play usually is the way they win games as well is kind of similar to Orange Esports and Burn X Flash as well. They play for Pranata and they play for Warlord. That's their secondary carry. The thing is, they have a little bit more. There's more dimensions. There are more dimensions for RRQ. Senna, right? Because if they don't carry with Pranata, if they don't carry with Warlord, they can always just carry and snowball from the early game through Aether and Violence. Okay? So if I they're highlight players. I would say Violence is definitely number 1 in terms of highlight players. This guy creates the moments for RQ Senna so many times in MDL, so many times, and he's a veteran player. He's actually played in the MPL. Violence is a really good roamer. I rate him very highly, actually. And I think He's very similar to Kekedot. Yeah, to Rapidut from Onyx PH. Yeah. I think I would make that comparison. Aether is a very versatile jungler as well. You can play the assassins, you can play the utility. I think there's still a lot of mental problems for Aether. When he gets going, he's really good. He can actually just take the game into his own hands. But if he gets shut down from the early game, it's very tough. I think I would compare Aether. I would say Aether is very similar to Selly Boy, right? Because it's the same. When Selly Boy gets going in the early stages, when he gets that snowball or he gets the time to farm, he really becomes a menace on the assassin. But the thing is, Aether is also pretty good on the utility, so he's not bad. They will usually go and put Aether in the utility if they want to play for Pranata, their goal laner, and Warlord. So they're still the means to carry the game comes from the gold lane and mid lane, right? I think they're basically Orange Esports and Burnex Flash, but with more dimensions. And I would actually put RRQ in B tier, but I would put them as the highest B tier here compared to Burnex Flash and even compared to Orange Esports. I would say RRQ Senna just have more dimensions, have more to their game, you know? That's why I would put RRQ Senna in B. Next. Oh, this is... Okay, so I don't know, guys. I don't really know what to think for RSGPH here. This is going to be... Yeah, RSGPH first, then we'll go over to RSGSG. It's strange because their lineup is Nats. I don't know how to say the jungler's name. Onrad or Onrad? I think it's Onrad or Warad. Yeah. Then they have Exort, not Aqua. They have no Demon Kite, no Eman. They have Nats and Light, but I'm not even sure if Light's going to be playing because they've listed another roamer. The roamer that they have listed here is Perks. So they have Perks as a roamer, as a substitute as well. He might play, might not be Light. You see, for RGPH, I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't have that much data on them, right? Like, Nats is one of the best XP laners in the world. Light's a very insane roamer, but for all the other members here, I don't have enough data on them. But I know for RGPH, with Light, with Nats, if Light and Nats play, I think if Perks plays as well, if Light doesn't play, I have to put them at B tier. But because I think their main lineup will still consist of Light, will still consist of Nats, and because they have a solid coach in Panda, I've seen Kosei play. Kosei has played in MPLPH, but for Onrad and Exort, I haven't actually seen their matches. Maybe they have played in MPLPH. Maybe I just didn't watch their matches, but that's a huge question mark for me. And because it's a huge question mark, but because I also still believe in Nats, Light, and Kosei, and Panda, I'll put them at Dark Horse. Yeah, put them at Dark Horse. Next team is RSGSG. For RSGSG. Okay, let's talk about this team. Diablo, Bray, 505, Baby Cakes, and Lolzy. They also have an Indonesian coach, Saint Lucas. This is their second championship title, MPL SG title. I would say if I were to choose a highlighted player, it would be their jungler, Bray, and their XP lane, Diablo. Diablo is really good. He's very well-rounded XP lane, in my opinion, right? He's good at distracting. He's good at team fighting. He's good at laning as well. Just a solid XP laner. He's that consistent member in every single game for RSGSG. And for Bray, he's also a very versatile jungler. You see him a lot on the assassins, but you see him a lot on the utility as well. Seen him mostly on the utility this season, unfortunately, because the meta. But I would say both of those members are the core members here. And those two members are what makes the clocks turn the gears turn for RSGSG. Baby Cakes carries them in the late stages if they do get into late game. But I think RSGSG, they do a lot really well, but I don't think they're like the best at doing that, the best at doing everything. You know what I'm trying to say? Like, they're jack of all trades, but they're master of none. It's kind of like harsh to say. But they're all really good members. I could definitely see them going to the second round, to the next stage, progress from the first game. But I don't know, man. Like, I just do not see this team, especially considering like Singapore's performance recently, like just the Singaporean teams. I kind of like, yeah, it hasn't been a good image for me. They're in the quarterfinals, right? So they're champions, so they are already going to be there. Unfortunately, though, I think RGSG, I would have to put them here. Just based on their international performances, they haven't looked too impressive. Yeah, SG, they were really good at M3 and at the SEA Games. I don't know what happened. They were really good, but they lost to Malaysia. And then in MSC, it was like the worst performance from SG in a long time, right? So based on that downwards trend, I will have to put RSG here in B tier as we move on to the next team, which is Slate Esports. Slate Esports, I honestly think that Slate Esports could have beaten RSGSG. No bias whatsoever, guys. But in my opinion, Slate Esports could have. But I think because there was a lot of like problems. This was the ex-EVOS SG, guys. There was a lot of problems. I guess you could kind of say a lot of problems because of the whole disband situation. And also their role swap, right? They role swapped Gear into jungle, Adamir into XP. They added a new goal laner, FMM. Sayla, JPL haven't changed their positions. JPL is still the roamer. Sayla is still the mid lane. I would say again though, it's kind of similar the way they play it. So it's still a very objective-oriented team, but I haven't seen much from Slate Esports for now. Unfortunately, I will have to put them as well in the V tier currently, right? I don't think they're in crazy form. RGSG were able to beat them. It was a close series, very close series. I'm not trying to like take it away from them, but again, just based on everything here, I will have to put Slate Esports in B tier for now. As we move on over to Team Hawk. Oof. Team Hawk, the champions of Malaysia. This team is great. I would actually say this is one of would I say they're one of the favorites? No, I don't think they're one of the favorites. I think the favorites are S tier. A are like competitive teams, and I think I would put Team Hawk instantly at A tier. They're very experienced players, guys. They have it's a very new team. They just qualified for MPL Malaysia, but their players are veterans, right? Min and Man, the twins. In MSC, they went very far with Orange Esports. They're really good in MSC, Min and Man. And Gary, their jungler, who is now an absolute menace in the jungle. Because back then at MSC, I remember Gary being a very one-dimensional jungler. He's very good. But he relies on those assassins, right? Once you take the assassins away from him, or just the Paquito away from him, he struggles. He really does struggle on the utility jungler. But this season in MPL Malaysia, he's done something very, very cool. Sure, he knows that his assassins will be banned, like the Fanny. It's always banned, but if it gets left open, he still knows how to use it. He's still absolutely lethal on the Fanny. But when he doesn't get the assassins, when it's banned out away from him, fighters become his prio, right? Dairoth jungle, he brought it. Paquito jungle. Then he also actually played the Alpha jungle in the regular season, and it worked out for him. Now that Leomord and Martis has been buffed, honestly, Gary might actually play these heroes, which is a very interesting thing to see, right? They also have for Mun, he's a very versatile mid laner. I think one of the most versatile mid laners here. He's played Eudora, Digi, Nana. He's more of a utility kind of player now, at least in the grand finals against Todak. But he can also carry the game with his Valentina, with his Kadida, and obviously on those high ground heroes. Back in MSC, we saw on the Xavier, etc. He was really good, right? So he can definitely go to that carry role if it's necessary, but mostly he's just that utility, and he goes for these crazy picks as well. It's insane. If the enemy team goes for an assassin or dive comp, he can play the Nana. In the lower bracket finals, he actually played the Nana. In the upper bracket, in the grand finals, he played the Digi and he played the Eudora up against Todak, and those two picks ended up being the winning condition for the team. So I think Team Hawk, I'll definitely put up there in A as well. We're going to reshuffle the teams as well, guys. Okay, we're gonna reshuffle the teams based on my personal, I think, the rankings of these teams. Ooh, that's gonna be hard though. Okay, and the way they carry as well is still mostly around their goal laner Panda, who can play. Usually plays the Claude Beatrix or 1-1. So there you go. And the final team on the list, right as we hit that 1 hour mark, man. God damn, it's 1 hour. Todak. Dude, I'm gonna be completely honest with you. I had a talk with Sunfrost, like I said before. I'll just put them at A. I literally don't know what to say about this team. They're so weird, guys. Like, honestly, they are the weirdest team. They are the weirdest team. Because Chiku plays all role. Moon is listed as a mid laner, but Chico's listed as all role, and the way they play it's so weird. Because Chico can come in as a gold laner as well. Then Momo, their actual gold laner, goes to the XP. Moon plays in the mid. And then Chico can also play mid, which means Momo is going to go to gold, and Formaze plays in XP, and Moon is going to be subbed off. They also can play Lunox. They can flex pick Lunox. They can flex pick Minotaur, flex pick Phoveus. I have no idea, dude. This team is so weird. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's so weird. I think the way they play the game is very unique. I love them for it, but yeah, I'll put them at A. Just because of how unique they are, because of how crazy they are. They're still definitely contenders, though. Yeah. I'll have to put them here. Todak. There you go, guys. I think now we're gonna try to list this. Alter Ego, Aura Fire. Who do I put? Oh, okay. Yeah. I would actually put Geek Fam here. Let me just... You know what? I think it'll take a bit too much time if I move every single team. But I already kind of described what I think, who I think is like top and stuff, right, guys? So there you go. All right. So this is not accurate. This is not exactly accurate to like how I see the teams in order, but these are the S tier teams, these are the A tier teams, these are the B tier teams, and these are the dark horses because we're running out of time. 1 hour. Here it's already 1:40 a.m. Need to go to sleep tomorrow. And so because I've already discussed about the teams, I've already told you all about the teams that I know, I will be moving on to the prediction section right now. And in the prediction section, honestly, guys, I'm going to kind of like go fast, all right? So firstly, we're going to go with the first team, ladies and gentlemen, or first match, Orange Esports versus Burn X Flash. Now, the safe pick would be Orange Esports, right? Because obviously they've had more experience. Valence has played in MSC before. Burn X Flash, I haven't... Yeah, no international experience yet. But I don't know why I have the feeling that Burn might pull an upset here. Orange Esports are definitely the favorite. I would say on paper Orange Esports has this because they're just more versatile, I think. But I don't know. I'm going to stick with my gut feeling for this one in particular, right? I will actually say Burn X Flash moves on forward to the next stage. Okay? We're going to move on forward to the next one. Give me a sec. Cloudy's just chilling. Give me a second, guys. All right. Okay, my bad. So, next. RRQ versus Geek. I think Geek takes this, guys. I think it's going to be... It might be close, depending on, again, how RRQ Senna actually performs. But I think Geek will actually just take this right here. Moving on to the next. We're going to move over to Omega RGPH. I think Omega are going to take this, guys. I think Omega will win against RGPH here. Just because, again, well, I've kind of explained the rosters. I think Omega have the better roster on paper. Alter Ego Rebellion. This is a tough one. Rebellion Zion are so good. This one, I think, is the hardest one for me right now. I will skip this for a bit. I think we'll move on over to the next one, which is going to be Echo versus EVOS. I have to say Echo for this one. I think for EVOS' roster, they have potential, but I don't think they can beat the runner-up of MPLPH, Echo PH. They're looking really strong, man. It's a single elimination. Hey, if EVOS pull off an upset, it would be absolutely insane. Bren BTR. Oh my god. This is so tough. I hate Mars for doing this, dude. Two teams that I support. Oh god. That I supported in the MPLPH and MPID. This one's tough, man. Bren did... You see, if we're just talking about on paper, Bren took Blacklist to 3-2, right? So it was a very close series. So on paper, I would say Bren. But the thing is, the way the roster that they're playing here, from the one that I'm seeing here, is Kaltiz is gold, not jungle, okay? Kaltiz is going to be gold. If Kaltiz is gold here, if Kaltiz is jungle, I would say Bren wins against BTR. But because Kaltiz is gold, I don't know how this roster swap will affect Bren. I'll say BTR. I'll say BTR moves on forward to meet Echo. Then here, I will say Todak wins the series. I think it's... Oh, this one's strange though, because Todak usually doesn't perform well up against like SG teams, up against Slate especially, because Slate plays it very mechanically. Not mechanically, they play it very macro, right? Todak goes for fights, Slate plays it slow. So this is a battle of tempo. If Todak can play that fast, aggressive play style, force it on Slate, then they can win. If Slate forces the slow tempo, then Slate will win. But I think Todak will be able to do that. Moving on. Aura versus OniPH, guys. Honestly, I have to say Aura on this one. Yeah, I have to say Aura based on the lineup here. Aura. Alter Ego Rebellion. This is so tough. Okay, I think we'll go for Alter Ego here, guys. I think we'll go for Alter Ego, but this is probably the closest one in the first. This and Bren BTR and Onyx PH Aura, I think these are the ones where you guys need to watch, right? Because these are the very, very good. These are good matches, very good matches. Really don't know who's gonna win that one. These ones, but I think Alter Ego are gonna move forward to meet Omega. Oof, the next brackets are so tough. Geek versus Burn. I think Geek versus Burn is going to be Geek Fam who wins it here. And goes up against... Hey, rematch, guys. Blacklist versus Geek. I think this is definitely going to happen. Next, let's move this one first, guys. I think Echo are going to be able to win against BTR, guys. Up against Onyx ID. This is another very good matchup. Todak Aura. I'll have to say Aura for this one, guys. I'll have to say Aura wins against Todak here to face off against RSGSG. Okay. Omega Alter Ego. I think... This is such a good matchup. I have to think about this one. The thing is, Alter Ego really good up against like these safer teams. I think Omega, with the roster that they're using right now with Kill VJ and Miko, they play a little bit too safe, and Alter Ego usually does really well up against these safe teams, right? So I'll have to say actually Alter Ego wins this one. Just because, yeah, I think the way they play is going to be able to counter how Omega plays with their roster currently. So we're moving Alter Ego up. Here it is. Next here, I will have to say Blacklist takes this, guys. I think they're going to be the first team to qualify to the semifinals. Oh my god. Okay, so it's going to be Hawk and AE here. Okay. Aura Fire versus RSGSG. Let's play this one first. I think Aura Aura are gonna win this, guys. Yeah, I think Aura are gonna win this one. There you go. Onyx ID Echo. This. Damn. Damn. All right. Oh god, this is getting really tough. I think we'll go for this one first. Alter Ego Hawk. Do I think Hawk? Hawk. You know what? Fun fact. Alter Ego doesn't do well up against teams that they underestimate, guys. Will they underestimate Team Hawk? They have no history against each other. Because against Rebellion, they've lost a couple of times, so they will have to respect Rebellion. That's my thought process right now, right? They'll have to respect Rebellion. If they respect their opponents, they're really good. They play up to the standards. Same will go with Omega, but Hawk, do they respect Hawk? I think they have to, right? Because it's MPLI, because it's single elimination, because it's an MPL Malaysia champion. Yeah, I think Alter Ego will win. This will be this is gonna be close though, because again, Alter Ego can lose from the get-go, guys. Wait, holy shit! What's going on here? Okay, Alter Ego are gonna be facing Blacklist. There you go. I was confused. I was like, wait. Okay, Alter Ego Blacklist there, and Onyx ID versus Echo. Oh my god. Honestly, guys, based on what I've been hearing and like for scrims and stuff, based on what I've been hearing from scrims, I think Echo will win. And the fact that, again, Onyx aren't using their main lineup. It's not Keyboy Sans. I think Echo can definitely do this. It's going to come down to the drafts, though, for Echo Onyx, guys. It really is going to come down to the drafts for Echo Onyx. Oh, my God. Because if Onyx ID can nullify Yaoi... No, actually, I'm taking that back. I think Onyx ID will win. Yeah, I think Onyx ID will win. I'm thinking about, again, just like based on the matchups here, I think the draft is going to play a very significant role here. And Onyx ID, I think, have had the better drafts to play with, just because their players are a bit more, the hero pools for the players a bit more, a bit more diverse. But I do think we're going to have the same teams in the grand finals, guys. Blacklist versus AE. I think it's going to be a very interesting... Oh, my bad. I think it's going to be a very interesting matchup. Blacklist versus Alter Ego. But the way Blacklist plays is they play really good from behind. I think you can actually expect Alter Ego to actually maybe win in the early game. But Blacklist... It's going to be very... Alter Ego Blacklist is going to be similar to Echo Blacklist, guys. Okay? Because Alter Ego, the way they play is kind of the way Echo plays as well. They have similar styles, in my opinion. So this is basically a rematch, right? It's basically Blacklist versus Echo, but I think Alter Ego are a weaker version of Echo. Okay, for now, they might prove me wrong, right? I might be wrong from the start here. Rebellion might actually win. So again, this is just predictions. Onyx ID though, I think will beat Aura Fire for this one in the grand finals. Oof. But I think in the grand finals, guys, the team who's going to win is going to be Blacklist International this time. I think Blacklist wins. There you go. Those are the quick fire predictions. Why do I think Blacklist is going to win? They have their main lineup. Firstly, here up against Onyx ID, who don't have their main lineup. And again, Onyx ID are also a very good team who can play from ahead and from behind. But I think in the games that I've watched, Blacklist International, I think in terms of like their execution and stuff, it's kind of the same. Their drafts have been both really good. Blacklist have played the creativity in their drafts have mostly been through Wise with Valentino with the Guinevere. Meanwhile, Onyx ID's creativity in the draft has usually been around CW. I think if they're comparing the main rosters, the main lineups for both of these teams, they're very close. Blacklist and Onyx ID. But Onyx ID did not bring their main lineup here. It's Samo and Drian. And Samo and Drian, I think, in terms of hero pool, is a bit more punishable, right? And as we all know, Bonchan, Venus, draft gods, but they're up against Aldo too. I don't know. Wait. No, but for real. Again, yeah. I'll have to give this one over to Blacklist for this one. I think with their main lineup here, Edward, Wise, Haji, Oheb, Venus, up against Onyx ID's lineup, because it's not the main lineup, because I think if it was the main lineup, it would be a different conversation here. It might be Onyx winning. I might put Onyx as I might actually say Onyx wins, but we're talking about MPLI. I'm sticking with it. Blacklist are national champions of MPL Invitational. They've broken the M-World curse, guys. They won M3. They qualified to M4. No other team has been able to do that. Evos were not able to do that. M2, M3 missed it. Bren, M3, M4 missed it. So they broke the M-World curse. They might break the MPLI curse this year. They might go back to back. If they win MPLI, they have that curse, right? Remember, everyone has said this, that the MPLI is kind of cursed because everyone who does well in MPLI doesn't do well in M4 or the M series. But yeah, I think they'll have the chance to try to break it here. It really looks like they want this trophy too, right? Because I think that's one of the only trophies that they don't have, MPLI and MSC, 2 trophies that they don't have. That's why they've set their main lineups. But yeah, I guess that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. 1 hour, 17-minute video. If you guys enjoyed the video, please click that like button. Subscribe to the channel, ladies and gentlemen, if you guys want to see more of this type of content. Again, I'm recording this at 1:50. We are ending it at 1:55 a.m. in the morning. Yeah, I have to wake up pretty early tomorrow because I have an early call time. So, hey, this is just for you guys. Hope you guys enjoy. And, hey, they're going to have to break my curse as well because apparently my predictions are cursed, even though I got the finalist right for both ID and PH. But, hey, I guess I predicted the Onyx ID to be champions as well. So, not that cursed, guys, but apparently to a lot of people, my predictions are cursed. Let's see if Blacklist can break this curse too, right? But yeah, these are my predictions. These are my opinions as well on every single team. Hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.